All right, we got our notification that we are live on YouTube. I just need for the video to connect up so I can grab this link and put it in our community. Let's see if it's going to give me, it's been doing pretty good. Give me the share link. All right, we're going to drop that in the community so that they can join us in the comments on YouTube since they didn't make it in studio like Teray and Heather and Dewana and Dr. Tachi and Kimberly and Debbie and Tracy and Shawana. All right, we got that going. Okay, let's go. Good morning. Welcome to Unlock Your First Six Figures morning show. I am your host, Shay Cannon. I'm an award-winning fractional chief operating officer if you need to know who I am. But most importantly, I hear my alarm. Most importantly, what you need to know is it all starts with a blog. And this week's blog is at shaycannon.com/build, B-U-I-L-D, build, because we're talking about the move from solopreneur to building a team, okay? Going from solopreneur to building a team. And what I have found is there are certain phases to doing this. Now, this is not phases that is really giving you like the step-by-step. This is more like phases of thinking and phases of, I'm going to say, reliance on a team, I think would be better to kind of describe that. Let me pull up my show notes. Here we go. Today is what, the 17th? Yeah, because I've done the show notes for all week. Y'all don't know nothing about me. I'm ready. All right, so throw these over here so I can see them. Cool, got my show notes over here, even though I'm not ready for them yet. So, okay, so you've heard there's no I in team, right? But there is a R in revenue, okay? So without a team, you can't have more revenue. Let me tell you how working by yourself as a solopreneur caps all of your efforts and all of your money-making efforts, okay? Because there's only so much you can do alone, all right? So we have to start embracing the power of team to get to our next level, okay? We got to. So the first phase you're gonna have to go through is your mindset. Okay, your mindset, because a lot of solopreneurs feel like the biggest problem with them getting a team is they need to make more money. Okay, you think you need to make more money. So the mindset is basically you can't afford a team. When really, if you switch that around for your revenue goals, you can't afford not to have a team. Okay, so I have some mindset shifts that you need to make, okay? From looking at it as a cost to looking at having a team as an investment, okay? From having control over everything to trust that somebody else can do it and do it well, okay? From the immediate costs of a team to the long-term gains of having a team, okay? From independence of you being able to do everything yourself independently to collaboration, okay? From overwhelm, because let me tell you how you are the problem with everything, because there's only you, right? And because there's only you, there's a lot to do, and you're overwhelmed. But you can go from overwhelm to strategic focus, okay? I'm gonna tell you what I like about having a team most is you being able to finally focus on the things that only you can do, not the things that anybody can do, right? So those are the mindset shifts. And you know, for the morning show, I have more for you. So I want you to think about, as I'm going through this, which is the mindset shift you need to overcome the most to start building your team, okay? Now, let's go back from cost to investment. Viewing your team as an expense is what's mentally limiting your growth. Okay, so instead of looking at them as an expense, you have to look at them with some other things that you have invested in your business as something that you're going to get a return on. Okay, it's something you're going to get a return on. So a well-chosen team, okay, a well-prepared team, a well-trained team increases productivity, enhances quality, and opens up new revenue streams. Okay, so ultimately having a team can provide more of a return on investment. Okay, now we've talked about team before. You can go to shaycannon.com/VA for how to get started, that step-by-step on hiring a team. You can go to shaycannon.com/teams with an S on how to manage your team once you get them. Okay. But today we're really talking about those phases of, going through building a team, and it starts in the mind. Okay. So today we're starting with the mindset. The next thing was control to trust. Okay. I can admit to you, I am definitely a control freak. And I am good at so many things that sometimes it's hard for me to let go of the reins and let somebody else do it. But it's no different than what they tell you about marriage, which is we know the husband can't fold things the way that you fold things. We know he don't wash stuff the way that you wash stuff, but you need help. Stop it, Teray. Stop it, Teray. You need help, okay? So what that means is stop micromanaging and thinking that people are going to do it the way that you do it, and macromanage. Tell them the result that you want and let them get there on their own. Okay. So that's one thing, from control to trust. The control mindset needs to shift to one of trust, building teams, finding skilled people from the beginning. Okay. A lot of us are trying to hire doers and expect them to get in a position and be thinkers and decision makers. And that's not quite how it works. If you are only paying enough for a doer, you're most likely only going to get a doer. Okay. So we need to do delegating responsibilities to free us up, and we need to get the right people in the right place. I call it aces in their places. Okay. So that way we can leverage the expertise and the innovation and the efficiency when we have someone that is more skilled. Okay. The next thing, from immediate costs to long-term gains. Okay. Immediate costs to long-term gains. Let me tell you how most often when you hire somebody, there is an adjustment period. So it immediately feels like, whoo, I'm paying this money out and I just feel like I'm still doing it myself. Right. But what you have to understand is the more you train them, the more you give them KPIs, the more that you correct them and give them feedback in the long term is when it's going to pay off. Okay. It may not pay off in the when you first hire them. And that's even with skilled people. Okay. Going back to relationships, someone may have been married before, but they were never married to you. There's still a learning curve, right? So from immediate cost to long-term gains, that's where you need to shift your mind. The next thing, from independence to collaboration, right? A lot of us, we just love our independence. We love our freedom. And what happens is when we attach people to us, sometimes if we're thinking the wrong way, we feel weighed down, right? We feel a lack of independence. When you get a team, guess what happens? Especially when y'all get all those doers from the Philippines and such places. Not saying that there aren't skilled people there, but most of y'all are going for the ones that are not skilled to be budget friendly, and that's fine. But you got to train them people, and they're doers. And guess what doers do? They only do what you tell them to do, how you tell them to do it, when you tell them to do it. And if anything changes, they come right back to you. Right. So they're always pinging you and asking you and need reassurance and need quality assurance. OK, and so it kind of feels like you've lost your independence, but you can't look at it like that. You have to look at it, though, as though it is a collaboration to grow your business. OK, so a team brings in whether they're skilled or not, they could tell you some different perspectives, how it is to work the process you put in place, even if they can't correct the process themselves. Some of them may even have ideas, okay? But we basically need to understand that we're going to be tied to making them the best team possible to begin with, to make the collaboration more and more valuable, all right? Last but not least, we got from overwhelm to strategic focus, okay? From overwhelm to strategic focus. Now, when we are by ourselves working in a business and we are responsible for everything, there's no way we're not overwhelmed, especially when you're trying to grow, right? The growing pains come when you start to actually get more clients for all that marketing you've been doing, right? We talked about marketing, we talked about sales. So let's say we get this marketing going, we got more sales, that's more people to service, right? You used to love to hear the ding, 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 chicking of getting the email that says you sold something. Now, because it's just you look at the email like, oh shit, I got to do something else, right? You're overwhelmed. When you get a team, that's what helps you to give them things that don't have to be you and leave you with only what you can do. right? Now, I'm gonna tell you, this is again where micromanaging versus macro managing comes in, because some of us will give other people things that we don't need to be doing, and still over there trying to do it, or still over there riding their back trying to see what they're doing step by step. So guess what that did? All that did was added another person to do it too, right? You never gave it up. So now the things that only you can do are still not getting done. All right. So let's go back over the short list. It is, and the question for you ladies is, which one of these is the biggest hurdle of mindset to you building a team? From cost to investment, from control to trust, from immediate cost to long-term gains, from independence to collaboration, from overwhelmed to strategic focus, okay? Which of these is the hugest obstacle to you building a team? And we're going to start with Shawana Kennedy. Shawana Kennedy, which one of these is an obstacle, or the biggest obstacle out of all of them, of you hiring a team? Because what I know is you pretty much at that point. And so I feel like I've been talking to you a year about a team. So feel free to unmic, Shawana.
Well, with some of the immediate need, I have worked with a couple of people, even working with the person right now, where the problem comes in at for me is when they're slow in response. And so if I'm waiting for days and I'm believing you're about to help potentially take something off my plate, that's where it's like, okay, see, this is why I do it myself, because if I'm trying to relieve that and you're not moving fast enough, that's where it's like, okay, I need to be on to the next thing. And so I kind of jump back in.
Love it. So let me tell you a great way to solve that. Excuse me, because you're working with people that are doing creative things, you might need to keep a pool of people, right? Never hire just one. You might have to keep a pool of people, and we're going to talk about how you can hire it as we go along this week, right? But you might need to have more than one available to you at a time. I'm gonna tell you, it's almost just like in sales. When it comes to creative people, us creatives, we're pretty competitive when it comes to what we're creative in, right? So you might think Teray love baking and love cooking, but put her in the kitchen with somebody else and they making the same thing. That cooking class that she went to, money bet Teray was over there making hers look the prettiest, wanted hers to taste the best. Just saying. So the best way to get the best out of a team member is have it be more than one.
But
It
then you
really
know
is.
what, with what I do, for example, if I'm working on a campaign and then I have you doing it, and
Yes.
I'm like, okay, now I've gone in, they see the base, I've given you a template, and then depending on who the other person, because they're creative, then they may want to put their little tweaks, which is not a problem, but then you potentially get a whole different set, a different look. So then that's where that's like, having the multiple people is cool, but if my stuff is not one way with any one person, do I do some of the same job? Yes, but because each brand represents their own brand, they still have their own feel to it.
So that sounds like a matter of process. What do the SOPs say and how are they following them? You see what I'm saying?
That's part
So
of it.
that's gonna
Even if
go
I
back to which blog post was that? That's gonna go back to the VA one, shaycannon.com/VA. You need to have SOPs so that everybody working at McDonald's is building the Big Mac the same way. That's an SOP. You done arguing with us? Sure.
no, I'm not arguing. Because I'm in it right now, so I know what I'm experiencing. And even if with the SOP, I'm still showing you, I'm I'm giving you where it's like
So have you given them a chance of a learning curve? Have you given them KPIs? So that's still that same blog post, right? So at the end of the day, when you first start with a team, it's not going to be perfect. You have to adjust your mind that there's going to be a
actually,
period.
and I'm because of this and because of going around with this, I probably at this stage was even more open and just honestly saying, yes, God, woo, right? Seriously, like, yes. And that's why it's like, okay, I don't want to be disappointed. So I'm not totally shutting this current thing down.
Yes.
But if I was really excited. And so like, I'm
I
like,
understand, but you were excited over the potential for perfection. When you need to understand that there's going to be a learning curve. So you need to be excited over collaborating over something that's going to be trial and error until they get it right. And don't forget that when it comes to visual creativity, you should always give an example, right? More than one example.
yep, did it.
Okay, cool.
And
So,
yep,
so let's go back to, we know that that particular position is going to have a high turnover rate. So we need a pool of people to draw from. This is why I prefer agencies sometimes, and having 2 people available to pull on projects. So I suggest you kind of start there. More than one, or even an agency. Let's get these SOPs tightened up. Now, if I got SOPs and I've been working with you 3 months and everything is still the same, then you're just not the right person. It doesn't mean I don't need a team. You're just the wrong team member for me. So for me, I need problem solvers, right? I need problem solvers. So I have people, don't come to me with a problem and you don't have at least a suggestion of what's going on. Don't come to me and bother me with something you could have found the answer to, right? So working with me as a team member is not always easy because you come asking me questions and I'm going to ask you why you didn't ask ChatGPT that. Or the same place I would have to go look for is where you need to go look for it. I'm not going to go look for it and find it for you. What I hire you for, right? So some of it is the learning curve of you. Some of it is the learning curve of the actual thing that they're doing, the skill set that they're doing. But it's actually something that's not going to start off perfect, right? Even me with my high skill set, when I started as a fractional COO, I still have to learn the CEO, right? I have my expertise, but me being an expert at something don't mean shit if I can't get it to work inside their particular business. And sometimes they're the problem. And so it's still going to be trial and error. So just embrace the fact that it's going to be trial and error, Shawana. That's why you were starting them with your stuff and not client stuff. We're always tightening up these SOPs, right? So just commit yourself to the process because that's what it is. It is a process, kind of like dating, right? Straight out the box, that man is not catered to you yet, molded to you yet. So just, you got to do a little molding. That's all. All right, Debbie, which one of these is a bigger problem for you shifting your mindset to have a team or a bigger team? Because you have a team. What about a bigger team?
Well, what I needed to do is evaluate the team that I have before because I thought I needed to hire new people, but I just needed to slow down and evaluate who I have because I'm not a micromanager. So I thought everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing. But now that I took the time to look and pay attention, they're not. And it's clear that I have to clean house. So yeah. I have managed my expectations. I've made my expectations clear. They are not the right fit. So I am cleaning house.
So 2 things come up for me for you, and that is you need KPIs for every position, right?
Mm-hmm.
I too am not a micromanager,
right?
Right? I even understand that you may or may not get it right, the first few times or whatever. But without having KPIs in place, key performance indicators, they never know when they're successful. And sometimes not even when they're successful. So what we can't do is have a team and then be like, I know what it looked like for success. I'll know it when I see it, right? Like when I feel relief, that's success. Well, you might not have a big enough team to feel relief. You know what I'm saying? So that can't be the litmus test for whether or not it's successful. So we have to have KPIs for each role, right? And also for you and Shawana, don't be afraid to test people before you actually hire them, right?
Well, that's what I'm going to do, a 3-month test for the next hire. And I give people too much grace.
And it don't actually have to be a 3 months because that 3 months is basically a probationary period. So you can hire somebody at their hourly rate to get them to do something that's going to be an hour or 2, and that's the test project. You see what I'm saying? But if they don't do it well, you're fair. You paid them for their hour or two, but if they don't do it well, or they don't take the feedback and go back and get it right, then that's an indication, Shawana, of maybe I'm gonna have to spend too much time on you. I'm gonna feel like I got to do it myself.
Right. And I give
What we
people
need
too
to
much.
see is some kind of change, incremental change. You still might not come back perfect, but did you apply anything that I said?
Right. And I just need to fire quicker. I give people too much grace. I'm like, all right, she'll get it, she'll learn. But no, I'm firing quicker.
Yeah,
So,
you really do. And that's a lesson
yeah.
for everybody. Some people say they hire slow and fire fast. I hire
Mhm.
fast and fire fast. I really do. Because what I understand is if you interview well, that don't mean shit. So let's go and do this interview. Oh, okay, well, you did good, like most people
Mhm.
will with a brain, right? Okay, let's
Mhm.
go. Let's see how you do in the actual position. Right.
Mhm.
But we still need to interview though, because there's still some people. I did one recently where she showed up in what I know was a bathrobe hanging off one of them shoulders. Their interview was less than 30 minutes and she kept picking up that mug, drinking that coffee. And I was just like, oh, okay, so you just ain't gonna respect this interview at all, huh? You just
Exactly.
you ain't gonna make this time
Exactly.
sacred in no kind of way. You bored,
Yeah.
you just woke up, you
Mhm.
got your coffee,
Mm-mm.
and then you got a
Mm-mm.
bathrobe, but it's hanging off one side. Like,
No. No.
please.
So I got to fire faster. So
Yes,
yes, that's true.
please do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then if you have one of those positions that are high turnover positions, then yeah, you need to keep a pool of people. Just like, what sometimes people have hiring events and, they don't hire everybody, but they rank them as they have interviewed and they just go through them. Right.
Yeah. I like referrals. I really prefer referrals, but it's hard to get.
It is these days.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Cool beans. Dr. LaFera said bathrobe with the gangster lean bad sign. Let me tell you, what the world? All right, Kimberly, we know you may be at the Dream Funder. You can use the comments or you can come off the mic. Let's see if you got time to come off the mic, Kimberly. And it doesn't seem like it. So you can put in the comments, Kimberly, which one of these is keeping you from either hiring a team or growing your team. Dr. Tachi, you have recently gotten into team with this network. Boy, have you gotten into team. So which one of these is stopping you from growing the team?
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
I had it. So I'm not sure, but I was thinking the immediate cost to long-term gains.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because the team that I have now, it's wonderful, but they are interns. So it's not, I am paying in some sort of way, but it's experiential learning for them as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess sometimes that's almost the same thing as with the doers, right? When we have access to people that feel a little more budget friendly and we're a little more comfortable with that rate of pay, sometimes what we lack is the skill set, right? And so when we look at the immediate costs versus the long-term gain, you look at how much faster things are going to get done, how much is going to get done in a shorter amount of time, how much less of your time it's going to take to get it done. Like it's less of you that's needed when the person is more skilled, right? And so sometimes that's how we have to look at it. I think the thing about Shawana that finally got her to even hire somebody, even though she's experiencing, that little lull before you get the right person, trained up, right? But I think what she figured out was, as much as you're getting paid per hour that you pay yourself, would you pay the person in that position the same amount per hour? And the answer is no. So when you look at costs, it's costing you more for you to do stuff, you know what I'm saying? Or for you to have somebody that's not as skilled than it would be to go ahead and invest in the skilled person because you're going to get a bigger return on investment, right? So that's just one way that you can look at it. Because sometimes the reason why I started with mindset, and this is different than most of the other phases that we're going to talk about, is because we can't do nothing we don't think we can do, right? Once we made up our mind, I can't afford a team. It's going to be forever and a day before you get a team. And once you get one and you get it working, which let me tell y'all is a feat. It's worth noting that when you get that well-oiled machine going, it's great. And then it don't even stay a well-oiled machine. Anything can knock a wrench in that thing. You know what I'm saying? Your favorite person gets sick or now you having growing pains because you're getting more customers and now the few people you have are not enough. I mean, anything, it's an ever-changing thing. And that's why we have to look at it like that, right? So Dr. Tachi, was that helpful at all about the mindset shift of intermediate costs and long-term gain?
Oh yes, very helpful indeed. Well, the thing is I realized that when you're an intern, there are limitations to your knowledge. That's why you're interning, so that you can learn. So I realized that I can't just be completely hands off with them, even though they're really good. I still have to say, all right, well, put it here so I can approve. Like if it's the social media team, for example, I can't just say, go ahead and, post it because I have to see. So that was very helpful.
Cool beans. And kind of like I told Shawana, y'all need instruction before and instruction after, right? So the instruction before are the SOPs and after are the KPIs. When you have KPIs that you share with them, key performance indicators, that's letting them police themselves, right? I like checklists. You know what I'm saying? I can tell when somebody has skipped a step and have not looked at my checklist. And the minute I see it, I'll say, oh, okay. So at what point are you going to start using the checklist? I don't even ask you, are you using it? Because clearly you're not, because you skipped some steps. So at what point are you going to start using the checklist? Because that's a part of how I trained you to do it. And that will keep you from having mistakes and then me picking it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I love a good checklist, but also key performance indicators that let them know what is the result that we want you to have. Dr. LaFera, I know you've had problems with team members, right? Which one of these mindset shifts do you think you had the most problems with when it comes to hiring teams?
Okay. I had the most problem when I had my previous team members because I didn't prepare them. And I know I didn't prepare them well. They interviewed well, just like you said. So I like everything you're telling everybody else because I'm taking notes about the KPIs and all that. But so they didn't have KPIs, so they didn't know. So I would always be their KPI monitor. I'm like, you didn't do this and you didn't do this. So but I expected them to know certain stuff because they might have had it on their job description, like I do this and I do this. I'm like, good. And so I always said, okay, do this and then send it back to me. So I like the thing about you just giving them I'll probably give them a more complicated project because I gave them stuff, but it was I guess not what the thing that I wanted them to do the most. So I'll be more intentional about the project that I give them. Yes. And then I like the KPIs thing because I was the KPI monitor. So I like letting them police themselves because the person I'm looking at now came back, former VA. She has a team. She already told me she's over a team. So that's what I'll do differently.
I love that. And let me tell you, having strategic questions in your interviews, every time somebody tell me that they know how to do automations, I trip them up with the same question every time. And that's when and I ask them, before I ask them the question, when they say they're good at automations, I ask them first. I say, hey, so there's a difference between, campaigns or sending individual emails and actually creating automations or a funnel, right? And they're like, oh, yeah, I know how to do automations. I said, okay. I was like, so tell me, how you use tags versus lists. Baby, that knock them out. When I tell you that knock them out every time, it knock them. Well, really what okay. I mean, truth be told, what I do is I automatically schedule the emails. I say, so you understand that that's not an automation, right? You know what I'm saying? So, Shawana deals with a lot of graphic designers. I would tell them in the interview, be ready to share their screen with Canva. You know what I'm saying? Or ask questions. What are your favorite features in Canva? Or in Canva, what do you use to do this thing? You know what I'm saying? Let me,
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
that's good, Jay. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
That's
You know what I'm
good.
saying? Pull up your Canva and let me see the portfolio in Canva. You know what I'm
That is
saying?
so good.
So, and when I tell y'all, I get them every time, every time. Because what we
Yeah.
know is most of these people only know how to send an email. They don't know how to put together automations. And I even give them a out. I'm like, even if it's a simple one, because y'all know a simple automation is like, you know, something they sign up and they just automatically get a confirmation. You know what I'm saying? That's just a simple automation. I'll give you, if you know how to do that, then we know we can get you to add on some emails to make it longer into a funnel, right? They don't know because they ain't out here really using it like that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And
baby,
so,
I barely know how to eat the difference between tags and lists. So I don't
yeah.
even really even expect you to know. But I'm going to see if you in integrity though.
Is there
Yeah.
a
And
blog
that's
post
great.
on automation? I'm like,
What you
what?
say, Debbie?
I said, is there a blog post on automation? Like, what are you talking?
There's not a blog post on how to do them, but I'm quite sure there are YouTube videos for whatever platform you have though. The platform I use right now is still Active Campaign, even though I'm migrating over to Go High Level. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't even have to know the answer to that question because most often they don't be knowing. They immediately don't even know how to conjure one that sounds like they know what they're talking about because they don't know.
Yeah. And so basically, what I'm not doing is having them go deeper when up front. So I'll
Yeah.
say, show me some work that you've done, but
Mhm.
no, like you said, go into their back end, like pull up your
Yeah.
back end.
Show me.
I like that
Show me some
question.
stuff.
I like that answer too. So
Not some
yeah, so
stuff you
that's
could
what
have
I'm
got
doing.
from anywhere. Go into your account. Let me see. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And so again, we keep dipping into Ray's book area of relationships. But what we know is we don't jump into relationships with somebody on the first date and we ain't asked you about certain stuff. And if you have, then we think you the crazy one. You know what I'm saying? That's what we think. When you think about your friends that come to you and complain about the men in their lives, and you be like, how you didn't know this about them? You know, how
Right.
y'all been dating 6 months and you didn't know this about them, right? So for y'all hiring, how y'all had these folks on your team 6 months and you just now finding out they don't know lists versus tags and automation. You see what I'm saying? Ask those questions up front. Read Ray's book, but make it about teams. How about that?
And stop being so desperate because you need a man. I mean,
Well, see, I wasn't gonna say that, but they're all righty then.
And why is she looking at the camera like she's looking at people when
she
she
looking at all y'all. She ain't looking at me. Okay, she looking at me too, but
You weren't
still,
looking at
y'all,
me.
we're gonna say it's y'all. All right, Heather, which one of these makes it the hardest? Because I had to tell you at the retreat, hey, baby, you ready for a team? And you was like, yeah, I don't think so. I was like, yeah, you'll see. And then now you're building a team. But what was the biggest mindset shift you had to make?
The cost.
Yes.
Because I was in such survival mode, right? I was still stuck in that survival stage that the thought of paying other people to help where then I couldn't use that money to pay my mortgage and my car note and live, right? And then pay for the tech I need to run the business. Like all of those life and business costs felt like they were too big to pay other people to help.
Yes.
But now that I have done the jump, like that investment is starting to pay off in well, in all the ways you said it would. So there, done.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, but I'm gonna tell you, the people who don't get the most out of their team or who don't feel the investment are the people who never start doing the thing that they were supposed to do as the reason why they got help. Right? So if you never let go and just let them try on their own, get off their back and you go focus on what you're supposed to be doing, right? We get some people that hire people that do the basics of what they do, and so they're not doing the other stuff. They really over here kind of being lazy, not doing anything, and they wonder why the business is not growing. Well, guess what? Like Heather said, now the money coming in is split between you and this person because you're not doing the thing that you're supposed to do that really is supposed to be bringing in more money that helps to pay for you and that person, right? And I've seen it time and time again where CEOs, they're talking about I pay all these people, I shouldn't have to do anything. Baby, you're not paying that many people. Okay. I understand that in your individual feelings, You've never had a team this big. You feel like it's 20% of the revenue going in. But sometimes we're hiring the wrong people. Sometimes it just takes more people. How do you have your business set up, right? So for most coaches, they have their business set up, or people service-based business, where you're the primary talent. You're always going to be working when you have it set up that way. And how are you going to not be the primary talent when in your mind you think nobody can do it like you? Right? So yeah, you're still going to be working. Even if they're doing their job great, you don't let go. So therefore, they're less of a value to the business as a whole because you in the way. They can't add value when they just replacing your value and you still trying to do that value. That's an overlap, right?
Yeah. So I hired 2 contract copywriters. So what they do is they handle all, or copywriters, copy editors. So they handle all the technical things. And then that allows me the time and space to come in and just do like the big idea parts, right? So then I can do the who, what, where, when, why, and how of someone's book, but I don't have to worry about punctuation, grammar, spelling, blah, 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 because the copy editor has already done that. And the 2 young women that I have are like wickedly smart and super talented, right? They're really good. And so it has enabled book projects to move, what do you know, faster.
Yes. And guess what? Because your projects are faster, you're getting more projects in a smaller amount of time. Therefore, you're making more money because you're not over there trying to proofread and copy edit behind them and do what you're supposed to do. Right?
No.
Because now you got that overlap again, and that's not as powerful or helpful as you being able to bring in more business because they're there. So yeah, love that. Love that. All right, let's go to Teray. Teray, which one of these mindset shifts do you feel like will be the biggest issue when it comes to building a team?
So I thought it was a money issue. Like, no, like what Heather said. I mean, I'm bringing in my money. I'm making my money. I need my money, blah, blah, but it's not. For me, it's deeply rooted from my childhood. I hate group projects.
Ooh, good Lord.
It's deeply rooted. I can't stand group projects. I'm here doing my job, and then the weakest link is over here getting the credit, but they're not pulling their weight, and so I don't trust anybody.
Yes.
Then I got into corporate America, and I'm on this again. It's a group project, and I'm doing your work and mine, but I don't trust anybody. And then whenever I translate that into my business, and I'm working from home, and I'm building my business, what I'm realizing is that it doesn't begin with, I'm building a business, I need to build a team for my business. The team starts in my home, not in my business. So on Saturday, I was cleaning my bathroom, and I was like, this is the last time I clean my bathroom. This is the last daggone time I clean my daggone bathroom.
I mean,
I promise I ain't cleaning this bathroom again.
The
reason, and the thing is that I was like angry having a conversation with myself while my husband was laying on the couch. And I was like, why won't I hire somebody? Because it's not a money issue. It's not a money issue.
So some of that is control.
It's a control, and I don't trust anybody. But again, it's deeply rooted in my childhood because I don't trust anybody.
Listen, let me tell you one about so we already know Shay don't do domestic nothing. Shay don't do domestic shit, right? But what I have encountered coming outside of the South of the United States in hiring housekeepers in these different countries is they don't use dishwater. And I can't fathom. And it bothers me to my soul that they wash dishes under the fountain of the water coming through the faucet. I don't understand how you think that's washing dishes. Like, you really just rinsing a dish with soap on it. Like, that ain't washing dishes, okay? But what I had to understand is I can't be messing with these people because I'm not finna do it. I'm not finna do it, is what I'm gonna tell you. I'm not finna. So what I have learned is for me to shift how I see stuff when they're here. I don't pay no attention when they get to that part. So I don't have those thoughts, because every time I see them, I have the same thoughts. I'm from Alabama. We have fucking dishwater. And guess what? Your dishwater is not supposed to be cold, and it's supposed to be hot as hell, and it's supposed to be sudsy, or else them dishes ain't clean. Okay. And then you go too far in the South, it got to have Clorox in it. Like, I'm just saying. So what you doing under that faucet ain't shit, let me tell you. And my soul be so bothered, but I am not willing to do it. So that's a no. I ain't got nothing to say to this lady at all. Okay. What I do is I send up that good old Alabama prayer up and just say, God, please just don't let me die from no disease from these dishes. Because in my mind, the worst has happened. She done left E. coli in the dish or something, and E. coli would never even own the damn dish. But hey, in my mind, it's the worst, right? So we do have to learn how to appreciate that if they have checked it off the list, to leave it checked off. You see what I'm saying? Or else if we keep going back, we are now losing the value that we are supposed to be getting a return on investment in. Right. So all of y'all that be cleaning the house before the housekeeper come, you're not getting the full value. You worried about how she fold a towel. Is anybody gonna die because that towel don't look the way you fold it? No, it's clean and it's folded and it's put up. Leave it alone. It's all right. So yeah, we just gotta learn. There's a lot going on in the chat. Debbie said, hi there. I love a good collab. Let's set up. Okay, y'all know what y'all talking about right there. I think Debbie, you're supposed to be inboxing somebody. Dr. LaFera said Mexico water too, be safe. It depends, right? So I'm a local. So I don't mind washing my dishes in the water, and I don't mind brushing my teeth with the water. We just can't drink it and ingest a lot of it. But I do local stuff because I'm local. So I don't be bringing like bottled water into the bathroom with me to brush my teeth and all of that. Dewana laughing. Kimberly said, mindset and money, my two. The whole blog today is about mindset, Kimberly. So we don't even know what you talking about. We love you though. But the whole thing is mindset today. But yeah, I mean, we have to let go, right? It's no different than if you're sharing a space with somebody and they don't clean like you clean, whether it be kids or sisters or roommates or husbands, companions, whatever. We got to let go. Or all day long, you're still going to be doing the things that somebody else was there to help you to do. So yeah. All right. Mindset, y'all. Woo. Mindset. I mean, we really, it's amazing to me how powerful mindset really is. Because if you think you can't, or you think you shouldn't, you really can't, and you really won't. It's really that simple, right? If you look for reasons not to, you won't. You won't. Instead of looking for ways to make things work, you can be a self-fulfilling prophecy. I knew I shouldn't have hired nobody. I knew I should have just did it myself, right? Instead of looking at this as a process that's going to have long-term gains that your, as Shana says, your future self will thank you for, or your future business and your future bottom line will definitely thank you. It really will. Kimberly said, thought I was answering a question about what's holding me back. I know you thought you was answering that question, but we know you missed a lot because the whole discussion was about mindset. So anything you could have picked, all of it was mindset. So sorry, Kimberly. Catch the replay. All right. Anybody else have any questions or any value add about mindset and hiring your team? Because this is the first step in, as a solopreneur, moving to building a team. Because without a team, which is usually team and tech, right? But definitely without a team, because there's some things tech can't do, you're going to limit what your revenue potential is. You really are. So we definitely have to go into what does it take for us to shift. Oh, okay. I did miss you, didn't I, Dewana? Well, come on out that downward dog and answer it for me.
I've been out the downward dog way. I thought, oh, see,
well, you know what? What happened was Tracy left and it jumbled my board.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, this is a great topic for me today, especially coming from what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks, because I needed a team. So the last one, what was a strategic
overwhelm to strategic focus?
Yes. So that's where I need to be. I'm already past the I need a team, blah, blah, blah. I'm past the money. I don't have a problem with that. My problem is actually finding quality team members and how to find people to help.
Yep. So you're saying the same thing Shawana did. So you need to go back to the week that we did or the blog post, shaycannon.com/VA, because sometimes we don't have, we're not getting in good team members because we haven't laid a good foundation for them before they got in, right? So a lot of us may not be at the point where mindset is there yet, but if you know if you understand you need the team to grow, you still can be doing things that lay the groundwork, right? We still can be creating SOPs. We still can be creating little training videos where we're showing recording our screen, you know what I'm saying, and building a training library. We still can be looking at our day-to-day task and saying, you know what, that right there, I don't care how they do it, as long as somebody else is doing that, let me put that on the list for somebody to take over, right? So, yeah, I mean, we just have to go through. I've been looking a lot lately at triggers, right? People say that look, society says we're responsible for our own triggers. When I'm triggered, I don't always agree. But at the end of the day, whatever is triggering you about having a team, you need to basically start to work on that so that you're not always a solopreneur without a team. Because a solopreneur without a team is always going to have capped capacity and capped revenue, period. Like there's no getting around that, right? So the week that we did on business growth stages, right? One of the growth stages was going from being a solopreneur to hiring a team. So yeah, we have to, if this is something we want to come out of a hobby, if this is something we want to hit large revenue goals, most often we definitely need a team. All right, before we get out of here, anybody with any questions about mindset around building a team or any value add? Awesome. Well, the studio is closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, y'all know what? I didn't give y'all announcements, right? My bad. So if you are in the membership, our fuck up night is this week, is on Thursday. We do have, oh, you don't know what that is? Let me tell you what that is. It is when our members discuss what's going right and what's going wrong and options to fix it, right? Because what we know is F-ups is the beginning of a breakthrough. And so it's BYOB, bring your own beverage. And it's BYOBP, bring your own business problems, okay? So we have fun with it. So if you're in the membership, we have Fuck Up Night on Thursday. Today is a work session day, just like Friday was. So today is a work session day for members only. We will be voting this week for our movie club because movie club night is next week, okay? And guess what? I promised y'all that we're doing another workshop this month, and we are. So if you go to shaycannon.com/affiliate, the workshop is ready for you. We're going to be talking about and teaching you how to build and create your own affiliate program. So that will be what we're doing this time. Again, if you're in the community, you can save $50 with your discount code SIXER, SIXER, all caps. That's even on the sales page. It's no, come on, unless you beat the D, you should be able to save $50, okay? So shaycannon.com/affiliate. That workshop will be not this Wednesday. I pushed it to next Wednesday. So to give y'all time, but this is going to be another good one. If you missed the custom GPT workshop, you might want to get that replay because the ladies have created some pretty good custom GPTs to use either internally in their business for efficiency or externally to enhance revenue or actually to create revenue. So yeah, that was on replay. Now shaycannon.com/GPT. All right. Tomorrow, y'all, we're going to talk about the first, I'm a slow walk y'all through building a team. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about projects. Okay, because I know that one of the biggest mindset issues with building a team is the first thing we think about is hiring a full-time person, and we don't know how we're going to support that person and ourselves, right? It's like a scary thought. So I'm going to take you through some phases that will get you up to there, because that's not where you have to start. All right, y'all? All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Studio is really closing this